At the end of this unit, students should be able to look at the origin, the growth, and the current structure of the internet, how the internet protocols and the internet address work, the difference among the internet and the intranet and all those kind of things. Don't forget, right from the onset, we have been saying that we've been talking about the e-business, e-commerce, e-commerce, and the main platform upon which the whole system runs is the internet. Okay, so we want to look at the infrastructure, the technology, the internet system, the web, and all those things that enables the e-business to be able to run effectively. We've already established from our unit 1 as when we try to define e-business, and we are saying is the transformation of key business processes through the use of internet technologies, according to IBM. Then also, we also said that the aim of it is to enhance a competitiveness of an organization by deploying information and communication technology throughout the organization. And it involves the use of technology to automate certain systems, okay? Payment system, procurement, and a whole lot of systems that we can use technology to automate them. Then we are also saying that technology infrastructure determine how easily a corporation can respond to the increasingly urgent demand of customers, employees, and partners, as well as respond to the competitive threats, okay? The threats that are happening within the business environment. How well are they able to respond to some of these threats? The technical infrastructure element of e-business consists of the internet and server technologies, hardware and software, security solution, and a whole lot of application, okay, myriads of applications. Effectively applying these elements lead to the transformation of business and the business processes. So just like going to cook a food, okay, maybe you want to prepare soup, light soup. Maybe you need pepper, you need tomatoes, you need salt, you need ginger, you need this, you need that. Okay, so it is when you get all these pieces and you are able to put them into proper use, that is when you get a very good soup. So there are 2 women that you can give them the same ingredients, okay? But when you begin to taste the soup, one will be superb, one will also require Ghana health, Ghana, how do you call it? Health insurance card, okay? Because if you don't take care, they will rush you to Kolebu for you to go and battle for your life over there. So effectively applying all these elements, okay, we can have a lot of elements. Somebody say, oh, Ghana card. Well, if it gets to a point where we need to take Ghana card to hospital, yes, that means you will require your Ghana card to be able to determine whether you are safe or you are not safe. All right, so technical infrastructure element of e-business consists of the internet. So it consists of the internet, the servers that we will need, the computer hardware systems that we will need to implement, we need to use, the software, the security solution, and other application. So let's take our time and look at some of the infrastructure system and how best we can. If time was to be on our side, this was one of the exercises I would have asked you to do, giving you about 5 minutes. And I would have asked the question that, looking at when you go online and you type something in a web address, such as google.com, before your website will load, what do you think are the stages or the kind of systems that operate before you can be able to see your web page? So let's assume I come here and I type something like google.com. And whilst I hit enter for the page to load, like as the page has loaded Google page for me like this, what kind of activities or stages, or assuming I type something like ghanaweb.com, okay, and it loads the Ghana web page like this. What kind of stages did it go through before finally I could have the the page loading? And if we are to go deeper into it, we realize that if you are to go deeper into it, we realize that there are a lot of systems that takes place. Our web browsers are in play, web servers are in place, database system, HTML, HTTP, firewall, intranet and extranet, the internet works, the hub and the switches, routers, a whole lot of services happens at the background, okay? So why should non-technical managers appreciate e-business infrastructure? Because to gaining a basic understanding of technology, supporting their business processes is very, very important. So before you can actually run the e-business effectively, you must be able to gain understanding of what technology that is helping your business process to operate effectively. Number two, keep a clear picture of the overall infrastructure capabilities and how each incredible investment add value. So whatever system you are investing into, technology that you are buying, how are all these systems helping you to be able to create the value that you actually expect to create within the business environment? Then also make a regular or systematic modular and targeted investment. So whatever budgets that they are planning, they will be able to plan effectively and add e-business as part of their strategy or their plan. Then have the ability to judge which element to be located within the organization and which one that needs to be outsourced or should be given to an external person to operate or do it on our behalf. So e-business infrastructure, in its sense, we are now referring to the combination of hardware system. So talking about the printers, the computers, the servers, the network devices, and all those things in an organization. The network that used to link this hardware and software application used to deliver service to workers, customers, the partners within the business. So this is the whole idea about the e-business infrastructure. So we are referring to the computer servers. We are talking about the client computers or their mobile devices that they use to access the service, the internet network system, the link that the network system that is able to link the hardware and the software applications together and all those kind of things. And taking the various components into consideration, let's look at them one by one. Computer network. What is a network? A network is a connection between two or more computers. Okay, so we have one computer here and we have another computer here. As soon as you're able to link those two computers together, so computer one and computer two, as soon as you're able to link those two computers together for them to be able to share information among themselves, then we have created what we call a network. So a network is any communication system connecting two or more computers together. A network of computers that are located close to each other is called a local area network, or the LAN. So if you have a single building having its own internal network, mostly we call it a LAN. Then when we have a network that spans over a certain geographical area or certain distances, we call it a wide area network. So this is a simple diagram of a network, okay? So you can have a personal computer here. You can have switches in between. This is a router, and the router is what is linking you to the internet. And we have the servers, okay, that is managing the various activities on this particular simple network topology. Then we have what we call the hub, the switches, and all the others. A hub is also a connecting device, okay? So when I want to connect more than two computers together, okay, I'll need what we call a hub or a switch. So I'll need a hub here or a switch. And I was explaining what a hub, the difference between a hub and a switch. I know this is not an IT class, so I'll take my time not to confuse those who are not a little bit IT inclined, or who are not IT, who are afraid of IT when it comes to some of these things. Now, a hub and a switch almost act the same, but the switch is more intelligent than the hub, okay? Because whenever you are connected to a network, the switch is able to determine what we call your network, your MAC address, your IP address, and everything. And whenever information is meant for a particular device, A switch will make sure it will direct all the information to that particular device, but a hub will not do that. A hub will broadcast the information to all the connected devices. Okay, so switches are more intelligent than a hub. So a switch also connects network devices, but has a more intelligence than a hub and can filter and forward data to specific destination. It's like when information is coming through to a particular device, a switch will make sure that the information will get to the actual device. So this is PC1, this is computer 2, this is computer 3. So assuming an information is coming and it is meant for computer 3, a switch will make sure that the information will go straight to computer 3 without 1 and 2 knowing about the message. But a hub will broadcast it to all of them, will tell them that, oh, there's a message, who is it meant for? So PC1 will look at it and say, oh, it's not for me. PC2 will look at it and say, it's not for me, until PC3 will take it. So that is the difference between a hub and a switch. So to communicate with another network, a network would use a device called a router. So we can have a network here, we can have another network here that also connects more than one computer together. And to be able to link these two networks together, we will need a router, okay? We need a router to be able to route packets among themselves. Then also we have what we call the network interface card. In your computer, the port where you fix your internet cable, okay, or the wireless adapter in your car that enables you to be able to connect to Wi-Fi, okay, that is what we call the network interface card. So all those ones are part of the system that helps you to be able to connect to the internet to be able to do or transact business online. Then we have a circuit, okay. I just drew a simple diagram of a network here. Okay, so the circuit is a pathway through which messages are travel. It can be physical medium like copper. So the cables that enables us to be able to connect, okay, devices on a network. So it can be a normal copper wire cable, or the coaxial cable, or the fiber cable, or the wireless connection. Okay, the circuit. Then at every network, we have what we call a server, a computer that is specially dedicated to serving a particular purpose. It can be a print server, it can be a web server, it can be a database server, it can be a network controller server, any type of service that it provides on a particular network. So we call it a server. Then we have what we call the clients. So a machine will be hosting certain files, let's say like a database files, and we will be accessing the database. So our computer that is accessing the database server, we are the client pieces, okay? And the database system will be the server. So a network operating system is also a type of operating system, just like we have Windows Vista, Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8.1, and the Windows 10, and all those, Windows 11, and all those things. A network operating system is also an example of a operating system. Example is the Windows Server, okay? Windows Server, and its main duty is a software that routes and manages communication on a network. We have intranet and extranet, which I think I explained a lot about this in our unit 1, where we talked about how internal network of an organization. So a private network of organization within a single building, we call it an intranet. And the benefit is that it improves information sharing, it enhances communication, and improves efficiency. Extranet is when we allow external person to get access to our internal network, okay? It can be a VPN system that allows somebody from an external source to be able to have internal access to our system. So we call it an extranet. And the advantage is that it improves information sharing, and it enhances communication and with selected partners. It improves efficiency and cost saving. So all these are very, very important. Then the internet. So we started with intranet, extranet, and internet. So we talk about internet, that we are saying it's a worldwide collection of computer networks. Okay, so MTN Ghana MTN has its own network. Vodafone has its own network. Airtel Tigo has its own network. So KNUST has its own network. and other institutions. So when you bring all these networks together, it forms the internet. So in a nutshell, the internet is not one single computer sitting somewhere, but it is a collection of computer networks. Okay, it is out of your computer, my computer, and everyone's computer together. That is what forms the internet. So nobody can lay claim of the can say that he owns the internet at any point in time. The internet started in 1969, and at that time it was called ARPANET. Okay, it started developing from 1969, and at that time it was not called the internet. It was called it started as a military project. Okay, that linked defense system, and it was called ARPANET, and it was expanded from being a military project for other people at the academic project to join in the year 1970s onwards. That's how the internet evolved, and that's how it developed. Okay, so we have the intranet being the small one, which I explained this diagram in our unit 1. Okay, so we have the extranet, and when we expand the extranet, it becomes the internet. Okay, we have what we call the public network and the private network. So a public network is any computer network or communication or telecommunication network that is available to the public. Anybody can join it. The internet is one of them. It's a public network. Okay. Then we have a private network. An intranet is a private network. So extranet is an example of a public network, but the intranet is a private network. Then we have what we call the lease line. So those are also private networks or private lines that are mostly dedicated to certain agencies for them to be able to communicate among themselves. So a lease line is a permanent telephone connection between 2 points that is always active. So in the advanced countries, lease lines are mostly used by bigger organizations. Because of their security level. Its security level is very high. The advantage of lease line is security. But as soon as an organization connects on the lease line, they are managed by a very specialized organization because they pay more to be able to have that system in place. So having such a system in place means they are guaranteed of improved security. Okay. Virtual private network, VPN. We also talk about VPN, and we are saying that, you see, whatever you do, whatever you do on the internet, there's a likelihood that somebody is watching you out there. Okay, no matter what you do out there, there's a likelihood that somebody is looking at you out there. So people try as much as possible to find ways and means to stay quiet on the internet by using what we call the VPN system. Okay, so it's an extranet that uses public network and their protocol to send sensitive data to partners, customers, suppliers, and employees using higher security protocols known as IP tunneling. So IP tunneling, what it means is that when you are able to tunnel your IP or you're able to hide behind VPN system, what happens is that you can be in Ghana here and you'll be browsing and the system will see you as somebody who are in, let's say, Canada, and they are not able to detect or determine your actual location. We have already looked at client-server technology, which I talked about, how on a particular network you can have individual computers that are connecting to a particular server for information. That is what you call the client-server kind of service. Then peer-to-peer on a particular network where there is no server or no machine is serving as any special purpose, but all of us are individual computers that we are browsing. So for instance, if you go to formerly the internet cafes, when you go there, you see about 10 or 20 computers, all of them connected together, and they are sharing information or browsing. None of them is serving any purpose. So all the computers are of the same make, the same size and everything. So we call it peer-to-peer network. They are networks that are implemented in situations where less than or few computers are involved, where strict security is not a necessity, because who even want to, because there's no special service going on over there. So this is an example of a peer-to-peer network. But as soon as we extend it for a server to be included, okay, then it goes beyond, or we allow a certain server to be included, it goes beyond being a peer-to-peer network. There are millions of devices that connect to the internet, our phones, tablets, and even in today's world, there are certain cars, okay, that connect to internet. They are embedded computer system. I've already talked about the internet service provided in our previous one, the people who provide us with internet connectivity, and the bandwidth, as I spoke about earlier on, is the speed of the internet that you are using, the speed of the internet that you are using. Then the hosting, those who will host your website, okay? So if you develop a website, you need to have it hosted on a particular service, a server, okay? And those who will host it for you, we call them the internet, the hosting side, the host servers or the host providers, okay? So a service provider that manages the server used to host an organization website and its connection to the internet backbone. A backbone is also a high-speed internet connectivity, okay? A backbone network is a high-speed, high link used to enable internet communication across a country or internationally. Then we talk about firewall. When we talk about firewall, we are not saying a wall that is on fire. It can be a software or can be a hardware devices that we install on a particular network to prevent unauthorized access to your network. So it can be a software system or it can be a hardware system that you can fix on your network. So its main duty is to prevent people from having unauthorized access to your system. So on our Windows computer, Microsoft has a version of firewall, okay? So you can see over here, Windows Defender Firewall, but this is not strong enough, okay? So you can buy a third-party firewall system. Like example is the Zone Alarm. There's a software called Zone Alarm, okay? That can help you to have a lot of security. Zone Alarm, this company provides a high level of, they provide a high level of security, okay? They provide a high level of security to prevent unauthorized access to your network. But if you are not an expert, please don't waste your time over there, because you might end up blocking your own self from even having access to the internet. So you should be very good in the usage of IT system to be able to effectively use some of these services. So firewalls can be a hardware, can be a software that will, so whenever you are browsing the organization, you go through certain servers, and all those servers are fitted with a lot of hard firewall system. So you go to certain organizations, certain websites are blocked. You try to browse certain website and they'll tell you it cannot be reached. But that same site, you can open it on your phone. Then what it means is that it has been blocked on the server. Okay, there's a firewall that prevents you from accessing that particular website over there. Then we talk about the World Wide Web, okay? The World Wide Web, WWW. It is the most popular service provided by the internet, providing users to over 500 billion web pages. So before you can see every website or a web page like this, okay, you are dealing with a document, and this document is being published on the internet using what we call the World Wide Web, the WWW. It's a technique, okay? It's a popular service provided by the internet, providing users access to web pages containing text, graphics, audio, and video. It is also a system with universally accepted standard for storing and retrieving information. Okay, so according to Barnsley, Dr. Barnsley, Tim Barnsley, and his association at the European Particle Physics Laboratory, better known as the CERN, in 1994, Anderson and Jim Clark founded Netscape, the first browser that was used. Okay, the Netscape Navigator, until later on in 1995, where Microsoft introduced the Internet Explorer. Okay, and today we have the Google Chrome, we have the Mozilla Firefox, we have the Safari, and all those other web browsers. So we are saying that the World Wide Web is a technique for publishing information online. Then we have the web browsers like the Mozilla Firefox, the Google Chrome, and all the others that enables us to be able to search information online or view web pages. Then we have what we call the web servers, and I've already explained web servers. Okay, those are the servers that enables web developers to be able to host the website that they have developed. The website that they have developed. Hyperlink is a method of moving between one website page and to another. So if I come to this particular website, okay, or let's say I go to my job online, every item that when I put my cursor on, it turns into the human hand. It's a hyperlink. What it means is that it's clickable. It can be clicked and it will lead you to a different page. So assuming I click on the news, you realize that because when I click on it, it's linking me to a different page. That particular link is a hyperlink. Okay, so this is also a hyperlink. So any link or any item that when you put your cursor on it, it turns into a human hand. It is what do you call it? A hyperlink. Browser compatibility. Okay, cross-browser compatibility is a capability of sites to render and deliver interactivity correctly in different versions of web browsers. Now, if I open a particular website in Google Chrome, I'm currently using Google Chrome. So when I open Ghana Web, look at how Ghana Web has opened. At the same time, if I am to open something like, let's say, Microsoft Edge, okay, let me open a browser like Microsoft Edge. There's also an internet browser, and I type, let's say, Ghana Web, the same Ghana Web. I'm not using Google Chrome, I'm using Microsoft Edge. Okay. You realize that exactly the same thing happens here. But if you are to open the same thing on your phone, if you are to open Ghana Web on your phone, it will display it this way, because when we are developing websites that are supposed to open on mobile devices, they are being developed in such a way that the website adjusts itself to suit whichever device that it was used to open the particular website. The next thing we want to look at is the uniform resource locator, or some people will call it the uniform resource, unique resource locator, or some people call uniform resource locator. The URL, okay, that is the link to a particular site. So if I want you to visit a particular web page, okay, if I want you to visit a particular page, I'll just copy this link and send it to you. So if I copy this link and I send this link to you, as soon as you click on it, it will lead you to this exact page. The same thing, if I want you to come to this particular page that I've opened on the screen here, and I copy this link for you. So this is the URL, the uniform resource locator. So this a link over here is like a map. As soon as you enter it into your browser, it will take you straight to this very page that I'm looking at over here. Okay, it won't change, it won't do anything, because it is a uniform resource locator, and it, as soon as I click on any item and the page changes, the link up here will also change. The link up here will also automatically change to something else. Okay. We have what we call the HTTP. It's a standard which defines the way information is transferred across the internet. Okay. I'm trying as much as possible to avoid being too technical here, so that especially my ladies will not beat me for teaching computer networking, because networking is one of my areas. So when you click on a link, which while viewing a website, your web browser will request for information to the server. Okay, so you type something like HTTP, so and so and so. So if you come here, let me show you an example here. Okay, as I type ghanaweb.com, you will see that HTTP will precede it, HTTPS. Okay, so that is how, when you click on a link while viewing a web page, your browser will request information from the server, and the hosting server, the hosting website using the HTTP. So it's a protocol. Okay, those of you who are a little bit into networking, we call it a network protocol. Okay, so HTTP transmission, to get a page from a website, the web browser issues a special packet called the HTTP request and a whole lot of stuff. So I'm trying not to be too much technical, to not to confuse you. So let's see something over here. Example here. I am here on this computer and I'm browsing, and I enter a web address of, let's say, www.facebook.com. The request is sent to the Facebook server, and the information that is stored on these servers will be communicated back to me using what we call the HTTP send communication system, or the HTTP protocol. Okay, so I'm trying hard not to sound too technical here, so that at least everybody will get a piece of whatever we are doing over here. Then we talk about the HTML. The HTML we call the hypertext markup language. When we are developing a website, we develop the website using certain development codes. So this particular nice page you are seeing over here, or let me go to Ghana Web. This, assuming I want to read this particular story, a 23-year-old student allegedly shot in a car, dead in his car. So if you can see this page, very nice page, but it didn't just come being a nice page. Somebody developed this page. So I can go and see the source code. Okay. Developer tools. Good. Now look at it. That very nice page you are seeing over here. This website that you are seeing over here. Look at the code that was written at the back. Okay. The code that was written at the back before the website could show off as that nice page you are seeing. Let me show you another website. So this one too, I can go over here and check. I can go over here and check developer tools. And this nice web page, you can see that a very nice code was written. So this is what we call the HTML language. Okay, the HTML language that hides behind every particular website that we operate. So when you go to every website out there, there is something hidden behind every particular web page that you open, but just that you cannot see them. That is what we call the HTML language. So this is what I just showed you, the HTML head. So those who are into web development will understand the HTML language over here. Then we have the HTML meta tags, the XML and extensible markup language. All these ones are also part of the languages that help us to be able to build websites. Then we have blog and web logs, okay? An online diary or news source prepared by individual or group of people. So Ghana here, we have people, they call themselves bloggers. okay, help be able to create websites and put certain information over there, and it's their own site, and they have it. There are many free services which enable anyone to blog. Example is the blogger.com. If you go to this particular website, you can create your own blog and begin to upload information on the internet as and when you want it. So that is why I always tell students that when an assignment is given, don't just go out there and when you type anything into the internet, whatever information it comes, you take it as the absolute truth, simply because anybody can create a blog or a website and feed any information out there. There is not a single body who goes on the internet to search who has put genuine information and who has put the false information. So whatever information you read from the internet, be very careful. That is why me, for instance, anytime I hear any bad news circulating on the social media, or I hear any breaking news on the social media, the first thing I do is that I check from different media outlets to make sure that it is genuine, because anybody can just put any fake news out there. Then we have what we call the voice over internet protocol, the VoIP. Okay, just like we have a normal, what do you call it, network in our organization, we can have a type of voice transmission system through our network. So it's a technology that is used for transferring or transmitting voice over a local area network. Example is the Skype. Skype is a peer-to-peer application that utilizes VoIP. Okay, so VoIP is becoming popular for reducing the cost of making phone calls. So you go into certain organizations and they have their internal network and they have added a voice service to it, which they are able to talk among themselves without paying a penny or a peso. Okay, which helps them to reduce the cost of using the normal phone to make calls. Then we also talk about protocols, and we are saying it's a collection of rules for communicating between computers. So earlier on, I drew a diagram of two computers communicating among themselves. And the truth of the matter is that before two computers can be able to agree and to be able to communicate among themselves, there must be what we call a protocol. So there are different types of protocol. We have the TCP protocol, the HTTP protocol, a lot of them. I cannot mention all of them. We are not doing networking here. So one of the protocols we'll be looking at is what we call the internet protocol, okay, the IP. Anytime you are connected to the internet, you are given what we call an address, which we call the internet protocol address. So currently, if you want to know your IP address, okay, you can go to a site like know my IP, okay, know my IP, or what is my IP address.com, and it will tell you the type of IP address you are currently, or the IP address you are currently using to browse on the internet. So currently, this is my IP address that I'm using to browse now. Okay, currently, this is my IP address that I'm using it to browse now. And if I do anything illegal on the internet, they will be able to locate me using this IP address. Okay, if I do anything illegal on the internet, easy, they will locate me. Okay, they can find me using that particular IP address. Okay, let's continue. So the IP address is a unique number that you are the only person that you are assigned to. Okay, two people cannot have the same IP address on a given network. Two people cannot have the same IP address on a given network. Then we talk about packets. Anytime you browse on the internet, okay, or you go to your browser and you type like something like, let's say, bbc.co.uk, Okay, I want to go to BBC website, bbc.co.uk. As soon as I enter bbc.co.uk or bbc.com, okay, I'm trying to view the BBC website. It goes through a lot of processes, okay? It goes through a lot of processes. So I send information from my computer through to requests for the BBC page that is just displaying over here. Okay, the BBC page that is just being displayed over here. So what happens is that there is something we call packets that is sent from my computer to, there is what we call packet that is sent from my computer to the other computer that I'm trying to request information from, the other computer that I'm trying to source the information from. So a packet switching is a transmission technique in which digital messages are sliced into parcels called packets. Now, what it means is that anytime you try to send information, an email, or you try to send something from your computer to a different machine, that information that you are sending, let me use this diagram for example. So assuming this is what I'm sending from my computer here to another computer over here, the information doesn't go as a whole through one link to the final destination. What happens is that the information is broken into parts, okay, into pieces, and it is sent across different paths, okay? And when they all reach the final destination, it will reassemble it together as a single. Somebody is saying, sir, with a VPN, can they still locate you when you are doing something illegal? Yes. On the world of the internet or the world of the technology, nothing is impossible. You cannot hide behind system. Don't forget that the VPN system that you are using, okay, somebody gave you the service. So if that particular service provider is being subpoenaed by a higher court or a higher court, that person can give your information out because if they are being subpoenaed by a court, they will have no option than to give your information out. So it's very, very, very important. So whatever, that's why I always say that the internet doesn't forget. So we should be very careful the way we play on the internet. We should be very, very, very careful the way we play on the internet, because as much as you think you might be hiding behind certain services to be able to do illegal things, there is always a way to locate people who misbehave on the internet. So back to the packet switching that I was talking about. So somebody sending one particular information from his computer to a particular destination. What happens is that that information that is being sent, okay, from this location to this location is broken down into pieces. So it's broken into what we call packets or pieces, okay? And when they finally get to the final location, they reassemble into a single file. That is why most of the time when you are downloading a file, let's say you are downloading a file of 700 megabytes, okay? And you are able to download up to 99% of the file, and it doesn't show you download complete, and you close it. You will try to open the file and they'll tell you the file is corrupted, simply because when you are downloading a file, the file that you are downloading to your computer is broken down into pieces. So when the download finishes, that is when it will reassemble them into one single file. So if it is 99%, that means there's a piece of the cake which has not been attached to it. So it will make the whole file corrupt. Okay, so you are copying something on your phone or on your PC, and you don't wait for it to finish copying and you just unplug your drive. The file will be corrupted because pieces of it has not been transferred onto your device. So packet switching make more efficient use of communication capacity and all those things. So we are not doing networking. So I'm trying as hard as I can to avoid being too technical with certain things. Then we talk about what we call domain name system. Okay, domain name system. Now, if I am to ask you to remember 10 IP address of certain websites, I don't know how you'll be able to memorize them. But as a network person, let me show you something over here. Assuming I want to know the IP address of Yahoo. So I can do ping yahoo.com. Okay. And it is pinging a particular IP address over here. So if you can see on my screen, there is a particular IP address that has been pinged or that has been shown over here. Okay. There's an IP address that has been shown over here. That is 74.6.143.26. If I want to know the IP address of, let's say, Google, so I can also ping, I can equally ping Google. So ping, okay, let me use MyJoy Online, ping MyJoy online.com. Okay, so as I ping MyJoy Online also has an IP address of 104.196.130.246. Okay, so without knowing a website like, let's say, MyJoy Online, and we are supposed to keep their various IP addresses in mind. Okay, assuming we are supposed to keep their various IP addresses in mind. Now let's see something over here. So I come to this particular web browser and I enter the IP address here, 104.196.130.246. So as soon as I hit enter, I didn't enter anything. I just entered an IP address, but it is taking me to a website. Okay, it brought me to a website. What I'm trying to explain over here is that every website that you know, myjoyonline.com, Ghana Web, BBC Online, Facebook.com, all these websites are linked up to an IP address. So whenever you go here and type something like facebook.com, behind the scene, the computers deal with the IP, not the name. Okay, so the name is what we call the domain name system. The domain names refer to the name assigned to a specific IP address. So ghanaweb.com, okay, ghanaweb.com is linked up to an IP address. Okay, so there are different types of IP address. Then we have the top level, the domain level. Okay, the top level domain, the .com, the .org, the .net, and etc. Now, anytime you hear .com, we are referring to a website that is into commercial. Okay, commercial sites. Then org means organization. So every church website is .org. The NGO, the non-profit organization, and all those ones, they use the .org. Okay. Then we have the .edu, which is the education. We have the MIL for the military. We have the .gov for government. So any of these top level that you see symbolizes a particular domain level. So education, commercial, government, organization, network, Expedia, so Google and Expedia all uses .com. Congress, the government uses this. The government of Ghana uses the .gov. Okay, so these are all certain extensions that we need to know, domain name extensions, the commercial, the education, and all those things. The domain name registration. Before you can have a particular website, okay, you don't just go and choose. Somebody can, you need to register. In Ghana here, we call them the Ghana.com. We call them, I think, Ghana.com. Let me see. Ghana. Ghana.com. Those are the official people that assign domain names. Okay, register your .gh domain. So if you have a website that you want to register your website, this is the organization that will help you to register, the Ghana.com. And it's not free, you pay, okay, to be able to have your website, what do you call it, being, your domain being registered. Let me put it that way. To be able to have your domain being registered, this is the organization that will help you to do that. Now, there's something we call cyber squatting. Okay, that is, you can go and register a website like, let's say, Abraham. You can go and register a website like Abraham.com. And maybe you are using it to sell products online. Somebody will go and register Abraham.net. Okay, somebody will go and register Abraham.net. And what happens is that as soon as he registers Abraham.net, people who are not unsuspecting customers who don't know that this is what this Abraham.net is not part of Abraham.com will use your website to cheat people, and people will be seeing you a lot. By the time you realize that somebody is using Abraham.net to cheat people, then your name or your reputation has already been dented. So what a lot of companies do is that after registering the .com of their organization, they register the .net and other extensions, so that when somebody goes and enters something like Abraham.net, it will still refer the person back to the .com site, okay, to avoid what we call the cyber squatting, okay, to avoid what we call the cyber squatting. So KSB can have KSB.com, KSB.net, KSB.org, and all those extensions to avoid unsuspected criminals from registering what do you call it, similar names to cheat their customers. So a typical cyber squatting lawsuit was opened in 1998, and when you get the slides, I'll send you the book, the slides, and you'll be able to read through the court issue because of our time. Then we have name resellers, companies that are licensed by ICANN and by national government to sell domain names. So example is what I showed you, the Ghana.com. They are a name reseller organization. Then we have the hosting service, internet companies that provide server resources for companies to host their website on it. Then we have the domain name resolution, the DNS system. Okay, this is the mapping of the English-like domain name of an IP address. So when you type GhanaWeb.com, okay, it is the DNS system that will link the domain name that you have entered, let's say the Ghana Web, to its associated IP address. Okay, so let's not go too much. Then we are saying also that the internet, nobody owns the internet, yet there are rules and regulations that we need to follow on the internet. So there are certain boards or organizations that regulate the internet. Number one is the Internet Architecture Board. We have the ICANN, okay? We have the internet, or the Internet Network Information Center. We have the Worldwide Consortium and other organizations that try to foresee the various usage of various internet standards, okay, certain standard for the internet. The next thing we want to look at is the mobile commerce, okay, electronic transaction and communication conducted using mobile devices. All these Jumia, all these AliExpress, all these Francophones, and all the others that I've been showing you right from the onset of our class, they have a mobile version of it, okay, mobile app that you can be using some of these platforms on their mobile devices. And they even prefer people using the mobile devices a lot, because when you are using it on your mobile devices, it gives them the chance to be able to send you a lot of alert system, okay? And most of the companies prefer the what do you call it? The mobile service to the online one. So electronic transaction and communication conducted using mobile devices such as laptop, the PDAs, and the mobile phones, okay? Typically with a wireless communication. Okay, we have what we call the wireless application protocol, the WAP system. Okay, it's a technical standard for transferring information from a wireless device such as mobile phones. What are the benefits of using the mobile commerce or using the mobile system? Ubiquity, that is, it can be accessed everywhere. Reachability, that is, you can reach wider audience, people beyond your current location. Then convenience, like currently I can sit in the comfort of my room. Most of the time when we go to the washroom, the bathroom, the toilet, and other places, that's where we even enjoy browsing through Facebook and other platforms, because that is where you relax and go through a lot of things on the internet. So convenience, okay, you can buy and sell most of your items at the tip of your hand, on the tip of your hand, just a click of a button. They provide security. Each user can be authenticated since each wireless device has a unique identification code. Okay, so as soon as you log into Jumia on your mobile device, your phone, and other things, they are able to see you. They know you. They know who you are, because they are able to monitor everything that there is to whatever you are doing over there. There is also, it provides a degree of privacy compared with the desktop computers or the desktop PC. You see how our mobile phones gives us some level of privacy. Okay, you can have your mobile phone and you'll be at the one corner. That is why a lot of you guys enjoy watching certain things. Your mothers are not proud of you because of that kind of privacy mobile phones have given you. Okay, so mobile phones provide you with a lot of privacy system. Okay, you decide what to buy and nobody will care, because you do it at your convenience, in your secrecy. Instant access or being always on. Here, there is no need to dial up a wireless connection. You are always on your phone. Okay, it's just a tip of a click of a button on your phone and you are out there. So currently, the world is faced with what we call the 5th generation mobile network communication. Currently in Ghana here, we are in the 4th generation. But in the advanced countries, they are in the 5th generation, like the US and the others. But don't forget that currently the 6th generation network has also, they have started developing the 6th generation network, the 6G. Okay, so currently iPhone 13 Pro Max is a 5th generation network connection. And as we move along a higher generation of network are becoming more and more faster. At first, you couldn't watch a video on the internet. It would keep turning up and down and down and down and down like that without streaming. But these days, because of the 3.5G, the 4G network, it's just a click of a button. Like currently what we are doing, I am teaching in Kumasi and you are all the way somewhere and you are watching me, okay? Because of the improvement in the network communication system, the 4G, the 5G network over there, it will get to a point in the world where I watched a video online. They said some time ago, we had technology. And over the years, we developed an AI system, the artificial intelligence system. Then currently, so we had technology, then we developed an AI system. And currently, we are building systems that are combining technology and AI system, the artificial intelligence system together. And with time, it will be a crime to drive yourself, because every single car will be controlled by AI, and cars will drive on their own because of the human errors, okay? because of human errors, fatigue, tiredness, misjudgment, miscalculation, and other things. That is what is causing a lot of accident on our road. But if we allow computers or technology to do all these kind of driving activities for us, it will reduce the level of accident on our road, which we'll get there. By the time we get to the 6th or the 7th generation, if by God's grace we are still alive, by the time we get to the 6th, 7th, 8th generation of network, you realize that most of the cars and most of the machines and other items that we have within the system will purely be controlled by artificial intelligence system, the AI system. So we also talk about the wireless network, okay? Wireless network are based on wireless. You know, our mothers in those days will tell you, Akosia, go and bring me the wireless. Talking about the radio system. Okay, the radio, our radios or the tape in the house are wireless system. There's no single cable linking from the, what do you call it, the FM stations to our houses, but yet we're able to tune in. Okay, so it's a wireless device. So our mobile phones and our computers and all the others have what we call the wireless communication system, able to connect to network without any physical cable connecting to them. So our notebooks, our mobile phones, our personal digital assistants, which we call the PDA system, then the notebook computers, our laptops are equipped with wireless cards to connect to the internet or network wirelessly. We have the Wi-Fi system. We have the wireless access point, the hotspot system that enables us to connect. We have the Bluetooth connection that helps you to be able to connect to device wirelessly. Okay, we have the Bluetooth earpieces. We have the Bluetooth, the infrared remote, and all other devices that enables us to be able to communicate with other devices without a physical connection. The last thing we want to look at here, we are talking about the current trend, technology convergence, a trend in which different hardware and devices such as TV, computers, mobile phones merge and have similar functions. Okay, so currently some of our TVs can be used to do, you know, there are people who have their TV with Zoom installed on their TVs. Okay, so they can log on to the lecture like as I'm teaching right now on their screens in their house without a computer. Okay, so mobile phones, people are watching me on their phones, people are watching me on their computers. So there's what we call a convergence, where devices are having similar kind of functions working together. Then we have the cloud computing. Okay, it is the use of giant cluster of computers that serves as a host to run applications that requires high performance computing. So you might want to use a particular software, but it will require a higher level of computer processing speed, which you don't have the money to buy those computers. So what you can do is that you can buy the service, okay, a cloud computing service. It can be a storage system. Currently, a lot of us are using what we call the Google Drive, okay, to save our contacts on our phones. You know, people will say, oh, I stored it on Google, I stored it to Google. Yes, it is an example of a cloud computing where you are able to store your information, your contacts, and other things on not on your physical device, which is your phone, but on a particular machine out there, so that anytime you lose your device, you don't lose your information. The information is stored on a computer somewhere across the globe where you can always access it on the click of a button on your phone. So cloud can be public or private. Allow companies to minimize IT infrastructure. And it's also example of cloud service provider is Salesforce. And I've also told you Google Drive is an example. Then Dropbox is an example. Microsoft also has OneDrive. The OneDrive, yeah. I think Microsoft OneDrive is also one of them. Now, we have what we call the Web 2.0. How currently the internet is changing from being just an informative thing to an interactive thing. as we previously we used to just go and read information, but currently the internet has become more interactive, more intelligent. So social media networking sites like MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and all the others, okay, they are making us more and more interactive. Blogs and micro blogs, okay, like LiveJournal or Twitter, all of them are also helping us to be more interactive. Sites that allow users to contribute content like wikis. If you go to Wikipedia, you can create content and update certain content over there. Site that let users share content like YouTube. And that is currently, I told you that I'm streaming this lecture on my YouTube channel, and as and when anybody wants to go through this particular lecture, it's just a matter of giving the person the link to my YouTube page, and the person is able to watch the full lecture on the platform. So Web 2.0 characteristics: services, not package or software. Data gets richer as more people use them. So currently it's been expanded, and as and when more people are getting on and on to the system, the data on the internet become more and more richer. Users as code developers, okay? So you don't just go out there to go and read, but you're also part of the development process, okay? You also help to improve the information over there. Lightweight user interface and development models. So that is how the internet has currently developed into. So this brings us to the end of the second, the sixth unit. And if you have any question, we can address it before, if we need to do anything, we know what to do. Is there any question?